Then dealing with relationships. This is the next part of it. At all points of time, they are linked. It's not that I'm dealing with events and situations separately and then I come to, they are mixed. They're always in a totality. In an event, there's a relationship. In a relationship, there's an event. And in my relationship, I have different roles. So I'm a son, daughter, brother, sister, husband, wife, father, mother, friend, student, teacher, employer, employee. Again, in this, I would want to submit, there is no other relationship or role beyond this. Maybe there are one or two, but I still want to say, there is no etc. That in my life, in the different roles that I would play, it would be in these sorts of things. And therefore, if in each one of these, I know what to do, then I know how to deal with relationships. I already learned how to deal with situations. Then if I know how to deal with these, I know how to deal with the other half of it. And then therefore now I know how to deal with life. And how to deal with life towards progress, towards potential, towards happiness. And in the manner in which Mr. Venkatraman has defined it for us. So, how do I deal with relationships? Everybody's got different expectations. As a son, I have different things. As a daughter, as a brother, as a sister, as a husband, as a wife, as a father, mother, employer, employee. In all my roles and in all my relationships, what is the one which is making us bond, go forward, do things, likes, dislikes, friendships, many things? One fundamental thing in all relationships is expectations. Same thing is there in event situations too. It's expectation. If I do this, will I get that? If I do this, will I get that? If I study, will I get marks? If I get marks, will I get a job? If I get a job, will I get salary? If I get a salary, will I get married? If I get married, will I get a son? If I get a son, so it's all continuous. Will I get? Will I get? Will I get? And its expectations in terms of those, in terms of different things. So, in all these relationships, I want to suggest something. The first thing I want to suggest is, as far as possible, let us remove expectations. I know it's a very difficult thing. How can we have a relationship when I don't have expectations? How can I expect that my husband would not or should not do this? How can I expect that my wife or my friend, my brother or my sister or my father or my mother should or should not do this? We're full of expectations. Yesterday we have discussed something and I want to present this again. All our negativities, when do they surface? I want to, if we can remember, all our negativities, whether it's anger or jealousy or envy or disappointment or regret or anxiety or this, when do these negativities surface? When there is a gap between expectation and the reality. If the result exceeded expectations, would you have negativity? Yeah. So which means we have two things which is coming in the way of creating negativities. One is the expectation itself. Correct? One is the expectation. There's nothing wrong with expectations. You must have that drive, energy, goals. I am not saying we are all robots who have nothing. But it's that expectation, if it is not there, you are better equipped to accept the result with equanimity. If the expectation is constantly there and it is churning and it is creating these, no result is meeting that expectation and you have no ability to accept that particular reality. ஐயோ 40 மார்க் தான் வாங்கியிருக்கான், ஹலோ படிச்சு 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 நான் உட்காந்து சொல்லி கொடுத்தா அவங்க 40 so difficult. The reality is the child is trying its best. It's also trying. அம்மா சொல்லி கொடுத்தா அப்பா சொல்லி கொடுத்தா எல்லாம் சொல்லி கொடுத்தா பக்கத்தாத்து பையன் 100 வாங்கிட்டா அது இன்னும் that's another bigger thing in our minds. But that expectation and then the reality is different. Our inability to manage the gap between expectation and reality is the only thing that causes negativities. No negativities will surface in us if expectation, the reality exceeds expectations. So, I want to suggest, have no expectations. Okay, reduce them if you can. Now, how do you reach there? We're going to look at these. See, none of this is theoretical things, because there are many practitioners, and I'm talking practitioners here in real life. I'm not saying Mother Teresa and Vivekananda and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and stuff. We don't need to reach those levels. Ordinary human beings only. Continuing to be ordinary human beings, it is possible for us to start moving in these directions and start to get into these aspects. So I first want to say, in a relationship, have no expectations. Minimize expectations. Enjoy everything provided in that particular relationship. Don't evaluate that against a benchmark. The more you evaluate that against a benchmark and then say, did it meet, didn't it meet, how much, 80%, 90%, okay, 40%, 50%, no, I'm going to get wild, 100%, 120%, yeah, fine, great. No evaluation of that. Accept whatever comes, and you will find there is a nurturing which happens in that relationship. And I want to present one or two more aspects in this. Very important. Please don't look through that murky, dirty window. Be non-judgmental. This is not corporate life. See, in corporate life, assessment is a completely different issue. We have to assess people's capabilities. We have to provide inputs. We work on those capabilities. Hey, your communication skills are poor. These are assessments. I am not referring to non-judgmental in that realm of assessments, building up of our skills and things for performance in any aspect. Whether it's in a physical gym or in a mental gym or in a spiritual gym, you're constantly also assessing, evaluating, working towards those things. They are all positive aspects of evaluation assessment. This judgmental thing is the one which mars relationships. Because the judgmental thing automatically is decided, lousy person, good person, lousy person, I don't like her, I don't like him, I like him, I don't. So it is all those which are the judgmental aspects, not based on anything. All based on story building. I was sharing with some of you in the morning about one particular equation. I don't want to repeat that. But basically to say that the judgmental component in us comes in the way of dealing with relationships. If you remove the judgmental components, you will come up with far better way of nurturing and dealing with relationships. And I want to equate this with the two cases. So none of this is to be in isolation. And I want to say, there is a beautiful word in Sanskrit called dharma. Mr. Venkatraman can provide us far more insightful things on that. But dharma, as I understand, dharma, many of us may think it is, charity and stuff. It's got nothing to do with that. Dharma is the right thing to do. Right thing to do as determined by whom? Not determined by society. Yeah, by me. My conscience. My conscience is always telling me, my conscience is one superior force. And that, again I want to say, that unclouded conscience. Yesterday Mr. Venkatraman was sharing with us about this IAS officer and his dilemma on what should he do. Chief Minister has asked me to do something. My conscience is telling me something else. And I want to act according to my conscience. He's a spiritual person. He is a spiritual person. Whether he did yoga, he didn't do yoga, whether he went to the temple or he worshipped or he didn't do, in the act that he did, he exhibited spirituality. He was guided by his conscience, which is a superior force close to the spirit within us. And so, when you do your dharma as a son, what is the right thing for me to do towards my parents? I want to do that. As a father, what is the right thing for me to do for my children? I want to do that. As an employee, what is the right thing I should do for my employer? And I want to do that. And at all points of time, I want to do my dharma. Then I want to do my dharma in every relationship, in every situation combined with that relationship. I will do my dharma, no expectations. I'm doing all this, no need, whether you promote me, don't promote me, I don't bloody care. I am very happy doing what I am doing in the manner in which I am doing. You recognize me, great. You promoted me, great. You didn't promote me, I am still going to do this, if that is still the right thing for me to do. If there is an input at that time saying, hey, there's a better way in which I can do what I can do, I'll take that better way and I will do that better way and do. Great way for us to build, nurture relationships and deal with relationships. Therefore, I want to suggest that deal with events and situations the manner in which we have discussed. Deal with relationships in the manner in which these are there. We are automatically starting to follow spiritual principles and spiritual concepts in how we are dealing with life. More we do this, it will lead to realizing our potential. It will lead to that holistic happiness, which is not event-based. It is not event-based that only when I am on this or on that I'm happy. My happiness is not even getting disturbed. In that Hamsa retreat, which Mr. Venkatraman said, we had some very interesting discussions. The topic was pursuit of happiness. And some of the discussions was, should you pursue happiness? Can you pursue that at all? Can you chase it? And then can you catch it? Then can you hold it? Then can you keep it? Then what do? You'll escape. Then you'll chase it again. So we had some discussions. On the title itself, we had some wonderful discussions. Is it pursuit of happiness? Or is it just happiness? And I don't allow it to get disturbed. So there are some, so that these principles and these methods for us to follow in our day-to-day engagements in life will equip us to move towards our potential with happiness in terms of how we are able to deal with event situations and in relationships.